Atlanta News First Plus starts now.
Thank you for joining me here at the First Alert Desk on Atlanta News First Plus. I am Maria Moreau here with Catch Up Quick. It is our morning segment that we like to do where we catch you up on some of the news headlines that we're following in and around Metro Atlanta. And I want to start with breaking news, a breaking update, I should say, that we received into the newsroom moments ago. A man that was wanted in connection with an apartment fire that claimed the life of a woman and sent a young boy to the hospital in critical condition has been apprehended. He was located in Alabama by police and now is in custody. We are working out the details on who this man is. We do know his name is Sean Fales. He's 44 years old. He was taken into custody by the Chambers County Sheriff's Office during a traffic stop in Alabama, Lynette specifically. Now, police said he is the victim's ex-boyfriend. We are working to learn more about him as well as the details of how this fire really began. Police saying that this, they believe, is a case of arson, with Fales being the main suspect in the investigation. So we're going to stay on top of this and bring you any major updates that we get in the Atlanta News First breaking news app. And I want to talk about another story that we were following earlier this morning involving a house fire along Moreland Drive. This now fire has been contained, but we do know that a man is in the hospital in critical condition after being pulled out of that blaze. Atlanta News First, Don Shipman is in Southwest Atlanta, where this man's home is just absolutely gutted.
What we do know is that that man was rushed to Grady Memorial Hospital for treatment. What we don't know is his condition at this point. Firefighters and investigators will likely return to the scene to figure out the exact cause of that fire. Take a look right here. You can see the video, and this is from overnight, right around 12:30, the home there on Moreland Drive in Southeast Atlanta, right across the street from the Tabernacle Baptist Church off of Moreland Ave. And you can see it sits up on a hill, that brick house right there. They had to use a ladder truck to gain better access to the flames. And you can see the smoke too. During the response, crews determined that there was a man trapped inside. Firefighters managed to rescue him from that burning home in the 1100 block of Moreland Drive. We reached out to Atlanta Fire Rescue to find out the extent of that man's injuries, but we were referred to Grady Memorial Hospital. We now have inquiries into Grady. Now, once the daylight hits, like I mentioned, investigators will likely return to the scene. They'll get a better idea of what the house looks like and able to kind of sift through all that debris to figure out exactly how this fire started. We're here in East Atlanta Village. Don Shipman, Atlanta News First.
And this story that we've been following since this weekend, officials in Atlanta have identified the 16-year-old that was killed in a case of mistaken identity. Now, according to the Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office, the victim is 16-year-old DeQuavius Royalston. Police say that he was shot and killed inside of his own home when he returned to his house in the middle of the night. This unfolded in Southeast Atlanta on Mulberry Row. According to police, Royalston walked into the house just before 3:30, and that's when someone inside the home started shooting. Now, police said they have not identified who the suspected shooter was or is. Police say even if the shooting was an accident, the person who pulled the trigger could still face charges. So they are continuing that search at this time. As soon as we get any information on the suspected shooter, we will, of course, relay that to you here on Atlanta News First Plus and on Atlanta News First. As we continue talking about today, I want to kind of look ahead on what we have going on here on Atlanta News First Plus. All eyes on the CDC right now as Georgia lawmakers are planning to gather to discuss the continuing turmoil at the Atlanta-based Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. A roundtable is going on right now as we speak, and it comes a week after the Trump administration fired the agency's director. Atlanta News First, Sarah Hammond is at the state capitol with more on that meeting.
It's been a time of uncertainty for people working at the CDC between cuts, resignations, and dealing with the emotional aftermath of the shooting there on campus. You'll remember just a few weeks ago, a man opened fire on the CDC headquarters, hitting the buildings nearly 200 times. No employees were hurt, but DeKalb County police officer David Rose was killed while responding. Employees also learning they're now required to return to the building on September 15th. And just a few weeks later, the CDC's director and longtime government scientist Susan Menares was ousted. Her attorneys saying she refused to, quote, rubber stamp unscientific, reckless directives. Deputy Health and Human Services Secretary Jim O'Neill is taking the reins for now. He has no training in medicine or health care, but holds degrees in humanities. Dr. Deb Howry, former chief medical officer of the CDC and one of the several who stepped down last week, says she has deep concerns.
I hope that he can do it. Unfortunately, he is focused solely on operations, so we have to have that scientific bench around him. He'll be the first acting CDC director who's not a scientist or a doctor. So if there is that outbreak or that new bug or pathogen, he's got to have the advice of experts to help him so he knows what to do. And right now, that doesn't exist.
That meeting today here at the state capitol involves about half a dozen Democratic lawmakers as well as former and current CDC employees. That roundtable begins at 11 o'clock, followed by a press conference at noon. Of course, we will bring you all the latest. At the state capitol, Sarah Hammond for Atlanta News First.
And again, that roundtable currently underway. We will take you live out to a news conference scheduled for noon today, where we are expecting to hear from those Georgia lawmakers. All right, everybody, there is one story that you all have been keeping your eyes out for, and that is the lottery. All eyes on Powerball as ticket holders in Georgia keep an eye out on their numbers, hoping that they win the grand prize, and some already have won some significant money. We're talking about 11 tickets sold in the Peach State that matched 4 out of 5 white numbers, totaling $50,000 in earnings. Now, Powerball players will get another shot at a jackpot estimated at more than $1 billion. No one has managed to match all 6 numbers since May 31st, allowing the jackpot to swell to the 5th largest prize in the game's history. Georgia seems to be on a good streak, so I want to bring in First Alert meteorologist Rodney Harris with a question for you, Rodney. $50,000. What would you do with that kind of money?
I'd buy a boat. I'd go out into the Atlantic Ocean, and I'd have at least 3 McDoubles a day for the rest of my life.
That you didn't even hesitate. You had that answer ready to go.
I'm ready to rock and roll. And I'd still figure out to do a way to do weather and traffic from the boat.
Right. Very important. We can't lose you. Not with what's going on in Atlanta.
It's all about the power of the money.
Yeah. Speaking of weather, we have a beautiful look outside right now at our home here in Atlanta. Beautiful 76 degrees. I hope for those of you that are outside or planning to go outside that you take full advantage of that. But let's take a look at the week ahead. Rodney?
Yeah, Maria, a lot of people are asking, can they get out on a boat? We've been a little cool here over the past several days. A taste of fall across North Georgia. But summer will return as we head toward the end of the week, going into the upcoming weekend. As Maria mentioned, that is a live look right now over the city of Atlanta. Great start to your day. Temperatures are in the 70s right now. We started in the low 60s. We're up to 76 as we speak. Here's a look at your high temperatures for today. We're back into the low 80s later on this afternoon. So for perspective, we were in the low 80s yesterday. So I do believe temperatures will feel the same today as they did yesterday. And of course, as you travel further north and into the northeast Georgia mountains, it'll be a little bit cooler. 76 is your high in Blairsville, 78 degrees in LJ. So another very pleasant day in North Georgia. Now, I do want to switch over to First Alert Radar because just down the road, we do have showers and storms that continue in Alabama. We've been watching these storms, First Alert meteorologist Isaac Williams and I, all morning long, and they've thankfully stayed in Alabama. However, some of our models are hinting at some of this activity potentially making it into North Georgia. It's dissipating, but I can't rule out a stray shower or two from that activity later on this afternoon. So we do have a 20% chance of a stray shower in your forecast. It's not much, and if it does happen, you may not even notice it because it's so dry outdoors right now for us here in North Georgia. But I do want you to know that that potential is there for a stray shower, especially north of Atlanta, as you can see by 4 o'clock. And like yesterday, I do believe the highest chance of rain will be in the higher elevations of the mountains. Now, going into Tuesday night and Wednesday morning, this will be interesting. So we have 2 short-term models that we kind of hone in on when we're making your short-term forecast. One of our models is not showing much at all, but this particular model has consistently shown showers moving into metro Atlanta on Wednesday morning for your commute. So we're going to have to watch this very carefully. Right now, we have a 30% chance of showers in your forecast on Wednesday. If that were to happen, it would be in the morning as you're driving to work. So stay tuned on that. We're going to keep watching these models and see if we can get a little bit more moisture in the air. If this model ends up being correct, you go to work tomorrow morning, you're going to run into showers. We're not forecasting any thunderstorms or any severe weather, but that potential for showers will exist on Wednesday morning. And then by Wednesday afternoon, that little wave of precipitation will start to move out, and it will dry out for the second half of your Wednesday. I want to remind you that's just one of two models that's showing that. So we're going to have to watch that for you carefully over the next several hours. But I do want you to know that there is at least the potential for some showers as you get to work on Wednesday morning. Here's your 7-day forecast. 81 today, 20% chance of a shower or two. For Wednesday, 30% chance. The reason why it's a little bit higher is because we're kind of pegging on that rain in the morning. Potentially, if that does happen, it should be drier by Wednesday afternoon. A little bit warmer with a high of 84 degrees. For Thursday, 87 degrees. We have a front that's going to get close to North Georgia, but it doesn't look like it'll actually move through. But with it in the vicinity, northwest of us in Tennessee, we'll keep a 30% chance of a few showers in your forecast. And I mentioned that front's not moving through, so your temperatures will keep warming up. I think that'll really be the story this week. We're nice and pleasant today and tomorrow, but by Thursday, it's up to 87 degrees. By Friday, 91 degrees. So we are back in the 90s for Friday. The humidity is also going to go up a little bit, so it'll be hot this is the end of the week going into the weekend. Another front will move in on Saturday. That'll give us a slight chance of rain as that front is moving through. Your high Saturday is 92 degrees, and after that front passes us by on Saturday, we'll go back to drier weather and cool off the temperatures a little bit. Sunday will be completely dry. Your high is 87 degrees, and then Monday we're at 85 degrees. So that's what your 7-day forecast looks like. No first alerts at this point, but we'll be keeping you up to date on this forecast. And if anything changes, especially for Wednesday morning, we'll be sure and let you know. So First Alert meteorologist Isaac Williams will have an updated look at your forecast on Atlanta News First at noon. You can always find your forecast on the First Alert weather app. You guys have an amazing Tuesday. Welcome back to work. We'll see you soon.
Stay up to date on your latest weather from the largest team of meteorologists in the Southeast. Download the First Alert weather app for hour-by-hour forecasts and join us every weekday at 11:30 a.m. on ANF+. You can also text weather to the number on your screen, and we'll send a link directly to your cell phone.